So I remember reading the birthday card and crying my eyes out because I don't even know why. I genuinely don't know what was in that card. I keep all my birthday cards because I love birthday cards. Maybe one day I'll go back and read it to see what it was, but I cried so much and I felt so much pain and I was so anxious. I ran out of church, then I ran back upstairs, I ran down, I went to my cousin, I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me, I want to tell you but I can't tell you, and I was just so frantic. And honestly, God is amazing because he works in ways we will never understand. I don't know why we try to box him in this logical box, because he does things logically. Some things are logical if you think about them deeply, but he's not a logical God. He's not like us. So it really doesn't make sense for us to try to box him into our logic. Our logic he will never fit into that. So it's just crazy because I did not understand why I was crying. I didn't understand what was going on with me. I was just going crazy. And I remember running out of church, going to my my accommodation, and I didn't have my key. So I had to go back to church. And when I got back to church, I had to speak to someone. And when I spoke to them, I opened up to them a little bit on what I was going through. And they told me to stay in church and do tabernacle as I usually would. And so I was like, no, I'm not going to, because I've just been in a state. I'm tired. I've been crying. And I stayed anyway. And on this day, God answered my question, why? And remember I told you I just asked him why, like that day I think, or maybe the day before, and he answered me, and his answer was that he wanted to be my only reason. And I was still angry, so I said, what do you mean my only reason? That makes no sense. And I promise you it made no sense to me then. I didn't understand what it meant for you to want to be my only reason. You created me. Like, what do you mean you want to be my only it didn't make sense. So I was just like, okay, well, I've gotten your answer. I'm not happy with it, but I guess I have to live with it. So just went on with life and would go up and down during this broken period. So much was just going on with me. I was still falling here and there, doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing. I wasn't praying. I still wasn't reading the word, but I just was going through. I just allowed myself to go through. I wasn't in a rush to get anywhere anymore because I just wanted to go through. I wanted to feel, and I was prepared to feel whatever I had to feel to feel. I don't even know if that makes sense, but yeah, I was prepared to just feel. And then something happened in my church that put a halt on the situation with being molested, because I had no time to think about that, because something even more painful happened. And when this situation happened to me, it was so hard to deal with because it was the first thing that took away my faith in God. It broke it completely. Because what happened to me happened when I was 6. It started when I was 6 and ended when I was 14. I wasn't really in a place to say I didn't believe in God, because I grew up believing God. So that was the only thing I could believe in, really and truly. But I'd given my life at 16, rededicated my life, at 16. So I knew God for myself. My faith was real. So when what happened at my church happened and it took my faith away, I was so angry at God. I was so angry at life and at the world that I didn't want to live again. I just wanted to take my life. I didn't want to live again because I didn't have a belief. And it just wasn't me to not believe in anything, because all my life I've known to believe in something. I was just so angry and so hurt that I could have gone through something like that. And I remember thinking, I hate these people. I hate God. I hate church. I hate life, because it makes no sense that something would take away my faith in God. And I was just angry at everything. And so I had no time to focus on dealing with the other stuff, because I was thinking, I have to deal with this, I have to get better from this, and I have to deal with that, and just so much. And it beats me now thinking, because I can't believe I thought in such a fractured way. Like, why was my thinking process so broken? I'm one person. My experiences make this one person who's Bunmi. So for me to have felt like I needed to deal with one thing before I could deal with the other makes really no sense, because God is dealing with me every single day. He's in control of my life, and he's in control of my experiences and my situations. And I just had to believe that. And because I had lost my belief, I didn't believe in it. So I was just going on and on in life without God again, wanting God again, then not wanting God again. But I'd convinced myself by this time that I didn't love Jesus. So I was just like, yep, I'm in this place where I keep on doing things that I don't want to do. So it evidently means I don't love you. And every time I would feel that way, God would kind of remind me that you do love me. Let me show you why you love me. If you didn't love me, you wouldn't run to me all the time. If you didn't love me, I wouldn't be your first point of call. If you didn't love me, I wouldn't be here. Like, you wouldn't be here, sorry. If you didn't love me, we wouldn't be. And it was just so shocking to me, because every time you'd remind me, I'd be like, wow, I do love Jesus. Everything is okay. You love Jesus, so everything will be okay. And I remember it was the last time I felt like, okay, I don't love God. God, I think it was a song. Yeah, it was, a Ty Tribbett song. He brought out his album, and it was a song called What Can I Do? And I remember listening to it on my way home. I was walking from my friend's house, and I was just like, wow, it's so true. This is me. I can't do anything without Christ. He is my description. He's my definition. He is who I am, and I'm him. I am me through him. And I just felt like that was the last day I ever contemplated whether I should kill myself or whether I shouldn't live life, whether I should wallow in my sin, whether I should be sad about things, because I love Jesus and that is enough. He looks and he searches through the heart. It's the heart that he cares about and nothing else. So even if I'm doing things that are wrong, all he wants me to do is to come back to him. All he wants to do is to hear me, be by his side. He wants me to love him. He just cares about the heart. And I was just so happy that day. I can't describe to you the happiness and then the peace that I felt. And I was comfortable knowing that, yes, I feel again, my heart is intact and I have feeling and I love and I'm Bunmi again. I just felt like me. I felt restored. I felt completed. I felt completion. I just felt like I'm who I'm meant to be in Christ, and I know that he has special plans for me. I believed that day with everything that I was special, and life just made sense. It just made sense. And for the first time, that answer that he gave me while I was at uni, being that he was my only reason, made so much sense, because he was the answer to all my problems, and he will be the reason for all my decisions and all my motivations and everything that I do in life from that day forward, because he is my only reason. And I became comfortable with the fact that I'd been through something, because I knew that it was for a great purpose. And if I hadn't been through that, I wouldn't be who I was. And who I am is a great person, and I'm going to do great things for Christ, and God is going to do great things through me. But obviously, with everything that you go through, there's practical solutions. And I think that was a major issue for me, because as practical as I was, I didn't realize that in dealing with things like pornography and self-esteem and being molested, you need to take practical measures. So I would go for an altar call and be like, yes, I'm free. I'm not going to do it again. And I would fall again, and I would never get the fact that I was falling, because I thought God broke the bondage. And it was one day, one of my friends was like, you do realize that when it comes to these things, you have to be practical. So you have to go for therapy. You have to go for counseling. You have to speak about your situations. You can't keep them bottled in. You have to unlock all these feelings, or else they will keep you captive. They will you will be in captive to these things because they're your secrets. They will keep you in bondage. So you have to do things, and you have to speak them out. You have to speak to people that have gone through these things, and you have to inspire people. That's the only way you'll be free. And so when it came to pornography, I had to become accountable. Now, I know Christians, we like to throw the word accountability around, accountability partner, but it truly is the best thing you can do for yourself when it comes to struggles, because it's almost like if your mom was your accountability partner and you really put your mom in high esteem, there is absolutely no way you would be okay with her knowing that you were doing certain things. So it had to get to the point where I had to put someone who I really, really cared about, who I didn't want to know I was going through certain things, in that place where if I had looked at a dirty site or if I did something that was wrong, they would know immediately, not by my own power. There actually are softwares that help you with these things. And yeah, so I had to take that step and be bold enough to say, I'm going to be accountable to somebody, because this is my life at stake and this is my relationship with Christ at stake. And with everything, there is a consequence, and I wasn't prepared to face the consequences anymore of my actions. So I was ready to take a step and just do what I knew was right, which was be accountable to someone. And I promise you, it's the best thing that I could be. And now we can say, oh, be accountable, and then put someone there that I don't know how to describe it, someone that it wouldn't really matter to, or someone that is okay, like you're not really afraid of, maybe, if this is for a lack of a better word, really. But you need to have an accountability partner who you truly know will keep you accountable and hold you accountable, and it's only you that will know who that person is. So you shouldn't really deceive yourself. Be real with yourself. And so I did that. Now, when it came to being molested, I didn't realize that it had that much of an effect on me. I didn't realize that it was the reason why I had such bad self-esteem. I didn't realize why it was the reason I hated myself. I didn't realize that that was the reason why I fell to pornography, why I fell to sexual morality. Because when you're introduced to something like that at such a young age, it becomes a part of you. And so that was who I was. And that was the reason why I fell to that when I was lonely, or when I needed I don't even know. It really did have to do with being lonely. I genuinely have to tell you, loneliness was the big reason for everything. And so I genuinely didn't face the fact that that had such a huge impact. But coming out of it now, By the time you guys will watch this, I would have probably had my second therapy session when it comes to the molestation, because you have to talk about it. You definitely need to go to counseling. You need to speak about it, and you need to open up when it comes to something like that, because it's a big deal. And a lot of us like to cover it up and keep it closed and everything, but it is something practical. So it is really important to talk about it with someone, because it is also part of the key to your freedom.